Hello students, welcome for this class on object-oriented programming in Java. So in this class we are going to discuss that how to write the program using class and objects in Java. In the last class we have discussed about the concept that what is the class, how to define the class, then what the object is going to do inside the Java program. So this is what the agenda for the today's class, that we are going to write the two different programs. The very first is we are going to create the class which will only have the data members, and we'll be calling that data members using the object, and we'll try to execute the program. And in the second program we'll be going to have the data members as well as the member function, which is the part of the class, and we are going to execute the content of the class by means of the object which we are going to create inside the main function. So when the question will be asked in the examination that write the program for this and that, then the question will be given like this. For example, let's say the question is given, write a Java program to create a class student having data members as roll number and name of the student, right? So what is expected, that we should write the program we should have the class name as a student and having the two data members as a roll number and name. So what we can interpret from this particular problem statement, the one thing is quite clear, that we have to create the class, as we already discussed that whenever we are writing the Java program, it will be having the class and object for sure, because whatever the stuff we want to write inside the program, so that will be written inside the class. And in order to access the content of the class, we will be requiring the object. So these two things will be always there, which will be required, right, whenever we are writing the Java program. But now as far as this particular problem statement is concerned, so in the problem statement itself given that which type of class we have to define and what will be the data members. So let's start. We'll first see that how to execute the program using Notepad. We already seen that, but still I'll just take 2 to 3 programs in order to just make you understand that how to type the code in the Notepad, and then we'll switch towards the IDE, that is Eclipse, which you have covered in the last to last lecture, right? So in the problem statement is given that we are supposed to create the class student. So what I did, I just simply write the class student, right? And as we know that the class is the collection of data members and the member function, right? And in the last class we have discussed about the 3 different combination which the class can have. A class may only having a data members, a class may only having a member function, a class may have both a data members and member function, or class may not have both data members and member function. And during all these 4 presentation or all these 4 representation, a class will be called as a valid class, right? So now in the in the question it is given that we are supposed to create the two data members, that is roll number. So but obviously whenever I want to take the roll number of the student, so it will be integer, and second it is asked to take the name. And we know that whenever you are talking about the name is the collection of a character, and the collection of the character is nothing but called as a string. So I define the name as a string. Now you have to be very careful while writing the Java code, because Java code is a case sensitive, right? So if you know, write something as a capital and again you try to write it as a small, so it is both are the different things. So you have to be very particular while writing the code, right? The things which are capital you have to write it as a capital, the things which are small you have to write it as a small. In this case if you see, I have just mentioned that uh, string name, and I make this S is capital because whenever you're writing the string inside the Java program, the S is always capital. That is a naming convention, or that is a case sensitive convention, right? So that is how I define these two things, right? So that is what been asked in the program, that create a class student having a data members as roll number and name. So that is what I define. Now in order to execute the program, I'll be requiring the main function. So public static void main, I'll be passing the arguments, that is string arguments, right? And now in order to access the content of the class, I'll be requiring the objects, right? So what I need to do is I need to create the object. And how do we create the object? That in order to create the object, what we do, we write the class name and the object name, right? That object name can be anything, that is up to the user. I can make the stud as a object, I can make s1 as an object, I can make s as an object. So whatever it is, right, whatever you want, you can create the object. Let's say I'm creating s1, then equals to new keyword in order to just in order to allocate the memory to S1 object, and then we are calling the constructor, that is student. So that's how we are going to create the object. That is, now my object name is S1, my class name is student. New keyword we have used in order to allocate the space to this S1, and we have called this constructor to just initialize the content of the class. Right now, in order to access the content of the class, what is the syntax we are having? That is the object name dot either the data members or the member function. So let's say my data member is roll number, and let's say I'm assigning the roll number as 25. Right, then second what I'm having, that is name. So s1 dot name, that is second data member which I am having, and my name is, let's say, Ajay, so I'm giving Ajay. Right, so that's how I have just assigned certain values to the data member. That is, roll number is 25, name is Ajay. And if I want to print this, so what I will doing, I will simply write down system dot out dot println, right, and what I will say, my roll number is, right, and the roll number is stored inside variable, that is roll number. So I will writing roll underscore number, whereas this plus is a concatenation symbol which will concatenate the string and the number together. And again, if I want to print the name, so again I need to write down as one more SOP, or you can club this both the things together in a single statement, that is also okay. But as we are just only beginner, so we'll be writing the two separate SOP, that is system dot out dot println, and let's say my name is, right, my name is, and it is stored inside the variable name, right. So that is how I just created the class, I have created the object, and using the object I have accessed the content of the class, right. Now in order to see whether my program is correct or not, I need to compile this program, and before compiling the program I need to save this particular program, and the extension to save this particular program will be .java. So whichever class we have defined as a public, we are going to save the program using the same name. In my case, or as the way the problem statement was given, that we are supposed to create the student class. So my class name is a student. So I'll be saving my program using a student.java extension. So now I click on save as. Let's say I'm just creating one folder over here on desktop. Sorry, just created a shortcut. I'm creating one folder, let's say Java programs, fine, right, and inside this I'm just saving my program. So Java programs, and I'm giving the program name as a student. Now be very careful while saving the program, because whenever you want to give the extension .java, initially you need to select this all files option, right, and then you have to give the extension, that is .java, right, and then you will save this program. So now my program is get saved where it is, that is on desktop, in the Java programs, right. If you can see, this is what student.java. Now in order to compile this, I need to open the command prompt. We already discussed this when we are executed our first program using notepad. Now by default my location is as user, but I need to redirect my control to the desktop, so I'll be writing cd desktop, right, and on the desktop my folder name is Java program. So again I need to change the directory to the Java program, so cd Java programs, right. So the moment I click onto the cd Java programs, now my control is in Java programs, right, and now I can compile my program, that is Java C, and my program name is student.java, right. Now if I just compile it, right, it is taking the time, that it is system.out.println is roll number, okay, non-static variable roll number cannot be public static void main. Where is my program? That is string arguments. What is the problem? S1 dot name, sorry, it should be S1 dot roll number, and my name is stored inside the S1 dot name, so I have to make this correction. So I just made it, right, because roll number is stored in S1 dot roll underscore number, and name was stored inside S1 dot name. So and now I just make the correction. So again we'll just try to compile our program java c student.java, and now you will find that the program is successfully compiled, and in order to see the output we'll be typing java and the program name, that is student, right? But again, before just executing this program, we'll just see that we just see the folder in which we save the program. Now we have created the program, that is student.java. That is what the file which you have created. But once the compilation is done successfully, you can see that this dot class file has been created, right? That is what the intermediate file, that is a bytecode which is get created out of the source file, and this particular code is automatically generated by the compiler. Okay, and unless this code is not get generated, you cannot execute your java program. Okay, so in order to execute, in order to see the output, your program, whatever program you created or developed for that particular program, dot class file should be get created, right? So now let's execute the program, that is java student, and now you can see that the my roll number is 25 and my name is Ajay, right? So that is how we are going to execute the program, right? So hope this program is quite clear. Simple thing which I did, right? It is not having any member function. If you just try to see this class definition, it is only having the data members, right? This is nothing but the variables, and this variable is nothing but called as a data member, right? So this is a data member. Again, this is a data member, right? And this is what your main function, because without main function your program cannot execute. So in order to execute the program, we must requiring the main function. This is what the object initialization, right? And then this is what calling the data members inside the main function. Same is the case, calling the data member, right? And simply printing this data members. Fine. So this is what the problem statement which was given, right? And now I'm just jumping towards the next part, that is the next problem statement which we want to execute. That is, now the same problem statement has been revised or has been updated, and now it is asked that write a java program to create a class student having data members as roll number and name of the student, and function to take the input of the student and to display the information, right? So now in this particular program we need to make the modifications, like it should have the data members, the one which was we have seen in the earlier program. And now in addition to that, your program should also have the functions like input function and the display function to take the input from the user and to display whatever the input we have taken, or let's say to take the input using a function, right? So we'll see that how to do that. So I just keep this program as it is, and now as in the program it is said that your program should have the function, so I'm writing the input function, and let's say I'm just passing some variable to this, let's say int r, and let's say in order to save the name I'm just passing string n. Okay, and I'm just writing the definition for this now. So the definition will be what, I will just simply assign this roll number equals to r, right? And then name equals to n. Fine. So that is how I just simply initialize these parameters which I passed inside this method to the data members which I initialized in the class. Now you can able to understand that which type of data members are this. If I'm asking about the int roll number and the string name, and if I ask you that which type of variable is this, so we know that there are three different types of variable which the Java programming is having. The very first is local variable, second is an instance variable, and third is a static variable, right? So this is nothing but what, the instance variable, right? If I define any variable inside the method, it will be termed as an local variable, right? And if I just precede the variable name with the static keyword, then that particular variable can be termed as a static variable, right? So this is the input function, and second will be the void display function, right? And inside the display function it is asked that you should display the things which you want to print. So let's say I want to print this roll number and the name. So what I'm doing, I simply, otherwise just let's say I'm typing this system.out.println. Right now, if I ask you the question that in which variable the roll number is get saved, right? So but obviously the roll number is get saved inside the roll number variable, right? So now I'll be writing the roll number is, and as it is stored inside the roll underscore number variable, so I'll be passing that, right? So this is what I have displayed. And similarly, if I want to print the name, so I'll be writing a system.out.println, and in order to print the name is the variable, and I'll be writing the name is, right? And this is what the definition of your display function. Now you can see that my program is having a data member and the member function, right? So this is nothing but my member function and the definition of it. This is the definition of this member function. Similarly, this is second member function, right? And this is what the respective definition of this, right? And now in order to execute this content, these are nothing but the content of your class, that is the student class. And in order to execute the content of the class, again I need to create the object, right? So as I told you earlier that a single class may have a single object or it may have a number of objects, right? So now let's say again I'm creating a student s1 as an object, the same method. Now uh, now my program is not only having a data members, my program is having a data members as well as the member function. So I can call the member function again using the same thing, that is, let's say s1, that is my object name dot. Now I need to pass the method name, that is input. And as my method is having the two parameters, so I need to pass the parameters as well. Let's say 23, and let's say I'm passing the name as J. Fine. So this is how I called the function, that is the input function. Similarly, I can call the another function, that is a display function, in order to execute the content of that particular function, right? So now this is how I called the function, that is the calling the function, this is also calling the function, right? So if it is clear, only slight modification that I have added the two functions to my program, right? And I'm calling those functions inside my main program or inside my main function, right? Using the same extension, that is object dot function name, right? Let's see, let's save this program and let's again go to the command prompt and just see that whether it is executing successfully or not. So again I just open the command prompt. Again I need to go to the desktop first. Again inside the desktop I need to go to the Java program folder, and now inside the Java programs I have saved the program using student.java. So I'm writing student.java. I will see whether it is executing. There is a problem that voids display. Yes, there is a typing mistake, that is voids display. This is what our return type should be void, right? We have seen that how to declare the member function, right? We have seen the syntax in the last class. So this is a void function. Just I make the correction, I save the program. Again I'm just compiling it. Now our program is successfully compiled, and now in order to execute it, Java student. So now you can see that the roll number is 23, the name is Jai, the roll number is 23 Joy, right? That is what these two parameters has been get overwritten, that the name of the student is this. And again let's say I'm just replacing this. As I told you that we can create the number of objects for a single class. So the way I have created s1, likewise I can create one more object, let's say student, and I'm just giving this name as s2. Okay, and in that again I'm calling that the same function, that is s2 dot input, and in that let's say I'm passing roll number as 2 and let's say name as Ajay. Fine. And again I'm just calling the second function, that is s2 dot display function, and I'm just terminating with the semicolon. I'm just saving the program and let's see what is the output now. Again I'm just need to compile the program because I made the modification, and now again I will execute the program, that is Java student. Now you can see that the same program is been executed twice with the two different objects, right? That is, first is this, that is s1.input, s1.display, s2.input, s2.display. That is how the program has been get executed, right? So this is how we are going to write the class in Java program. Hope it is okay and it is quite easy to write the program in Java. So you just also try to practice the same, and I'll be no providing some problem statements to you in order to just practice it more, that what sort of a question can be asked and how to write those programs, right? So that's it for this class. See you in the next class with some more examples, and from next class we'll be switching towards the IDE, and we'll see that how to write the same program over the IDE. Till that time, thank you.